Welcome to Monetize Your Passion, a place for moms with big dreams and an eagerness to turn them into a thriving reality. Whether you're a mom seeking to monetize your talents, transition from a stagnant job, or explore a lucrative side hustle, you're in the right place. I'm Terralon, a wife and mom transitioning from a top 5% sales career to become the founder and publisher of Tinseltown Mom. I wear so many hats: former actress, current writer, celebrity blogger, podcast coach, and through it all, I've discovered the power of honing our gifts, learning from our past, and using our experiences to uplift others. Join me on this journey as we explore stories of successful mompreneurs uncovering the roadmap to their accomplishments. I'll also be sharing actionable business and money-making tips to guide you towards concrete ideas for generating income. Here, my hope is that you'll find inspiration from God, encouragement, and practical insights to monetize your passion. So on today's episode, I wanted to talk about passions and ways to uncover those passions if you're unsure of yours. So I'm going to start by first telling you what a passion is. A passion can be described as an intense emotional connection to a specific interest or pursuit. It could even be characterized by a strong sense of purpose and commitment. Passion pursuits often open the door for happiness, satisfaction, and a sense of fulfillment, regardless of external rewards. Now, I realize that not everyone knows where their passions lie and that it's a unique discovery for each individual. Now, that discovery has come naturally to me over the years. I've always been a dreamer. I think I've mentioned this to you before in other episodes. Ever since I was a kid, I've been dreaming. Ever since I was in the backyard playing with my cousins and big sister, I was always the one that was like, I want to make up a play. Let's make up a play. And I loved improvising. Since I was a little girl, gymnastics, I always had passions that I was trying to pursue. And those passions opened up different doors for me. I eventually pursued an acting career. So for me, passions were always something that I was pursuing. So I've grown and I've had other life experiences. So my passions have evolved. Acting is no longer a passion of mine, but looking back, I can see how God used those passions to turn them into useful skills that's helped me in life. And because of those early passions, I was able to build a successful sales career, which led me to being able to communicate well with a diverse group of people. That led to me honing early interview skills that I didn't even know I'd use later, which led to me parlaying those interview skills into launching a blog and interviewing celebrity moms. This paved the way for me to launch a podcast so I can interview different guests on my platform. So I do also feel that passions can turn into a meaningful purpose if we use them in the way that God wants us to. And that's why I consult with him and I ask him how he wants me to use the gifts and the desires that he's given me. I think I've also mentioned that to you before. I want God to be included in the things that I'm doing so I'm not wasting valuable time, and that those passions are actually going to turn into something meaningful and lead to a purpose that he has for me. Because if that leads to the purpose that he has for us, or for me, for you, then it opens the way for us to impact other people and make a difference in people's lives in a positive way. So having said all that, let's talk about 5 tips that you can use to uncover passions that you may not even know that you have. The first tip I have is to reflect on your interests. Take some time to think about activities or hobbies or topics that you've always enjoyed or that have piqued your interest. What lights you up? What do you enjoy doing in your free time? It could be hanging out at a coffee shop and people watching, or maybe it's taking long walks or long hikes and just being with nature. Maybe it's encouraging people who are down that are in your inner circle, or just people that you meet randomly on the street. There are interests that you have that you may not even be thinking about. Think about those things that you do in your free time, or if you had time to do, that really light you up and just make you feel joyful and just happy. And just reflect on those. And I would even recommend writing them down in a journal so you don't forget about them. Sometimes we don't even realize some of the passions that we have that are actually passions that we can use to actually make money from or turn into some sort of career. So write those down in a journal so you can go back to them later and think on them and pray on them. The number 2 tip I have is to embrace new experiences. Now, are there things that you've never done before that people have gotten you involved in? It could be playing pickleball, I don't know, or it could be riding roller coasters. Maybe that's something that you've never done before, but someone's opened your life to that and it's something that you now enjoy. What are some things that maybe have been hidden from your life that you've tried? Maybe it's a new talent that you didn't know you had. Or maybe it's something that just aligns with the interest that you've always had. Not necessarily a passion, but maybe it's just an interest that you have. Again, I would also recommend write it down in a journal just so you can go back on that later and pray about it and just ask God, is there anything with that he wants you to do with it? The number 3 tip I would say is to reflect on childhood memories. Now, as I mentioned to you that I enjoyed acting and that I always wanted to make up plays in the backyard with my family. I also, when I was a child, used to go fishing and camping literally every other weekend. It didn't matter what the occasion was. It could have been my parents' anniversary. We were going fishing to celebrate or camping somewhere. I've done all types of camping. I mean, my favorite type of camping to do now is, of course, cabin camping and not using an outhouse for a bathroom. But again, camping is something that is very important to my family's life. Even every other year now, we go to Yosemite as a family reunion. So that is something that I could reflect on. If I was passionate about camping, I mean, I'm interested in it. I enjoy it, but I'm not passionate about it. But if I was passionate about it, I would think of all types of different ways that I could bring that to light and help others who are passionate about that field. I would start a blog or a podcast and just share tips about camping, ways to pack, how to dress, different types of insect repellent that you should use when you're out, how to thwart bears from coming into your campsite, different things like that. There's different things that you can think about, like even from your childhood that you can reflect on and just see if there's anything there. So again, that's the number 3 tip. Write it down and come back to it later. You can pray on it. The number 4 tip I would say is to reflect on things that you've overcome as a child. Like, what are some things that you've gone through that are unique to you that you can help somebody with? I know for me, I was very sick as a child. I suffered from asthma and all types of other really bad allergies. So I was sick a lot. My pastor was always over praying for me and my grandma was always over praying for me. I missed a lot of school because I was in and out of the hospitals. As I got older and God healed me, I remember specifically one year in school striving to get the perfect attendance award. Even if I had a little cold, I was going to get that perfect attendance award because I knew what I'd been through, how many days of school I had missed in the past. I didn't want to miss any school. So that year, I can't remember what grade, maybe 4th or 5th grade, I got the perfect attendance award. And I was so proud of that because I knew where I had been and I knew how much school I had missed. And that just brought me so much joy. And that is actually something that helped to build resilience in me. And resilience, actually, that's a value. And if resilience was a value that I was passionate about getting out into the world, then I could use that to be a life coach or a career coach. There are memories in our life that seem small, but God may have a bigger purpose for it. So again, write down the things that you've overcome as a child. And when you come back to it, you can pray about it and see if there's anything there, anything that God wants you to do with that. And I know I mentioned values. That's actually the 5th tip, is to think about your values. What are some things that are important to you? Is it family stability? Is it courage? As I mentioned, resilience? Is it gratitude, respect, or fairness? What are some ways that you like to rally the troops so you can get them to think about those values that you feel passionate about or just have an interest in? I would say write out all your values. Write them out. And again, you can come back to it. Write it out in your journal. Come back, look at it, pray about it, and ask God, is there anything there? Is there anything there that might actually be a passion of yours that you're not even tapping into? So again, those are 5 tips that I have just to get you thinking about passions. A couple of weeks ago, I spoke about the importance of having goals. And I would also say just continue along the goal path and writing down the goals that you have in your life. Maybe that'll spark something as you're writing your goals in your personal lives, your professional lives, and in your spiritual lives. I have a feeling if you take these steps, write out these things in your journal along with writing out your goals, something's going to come to your heart, or to the forefront of your mind, something that you've never thought about. You might have to dig deep. You might have to pull up memories that you buried beneath the surface, but something's there. There's something there that you are meant to do, that you are meant to impact the world with. And again, don't sleep on passions. I feel that passions are worth pursuing because, again, they can turn into a purpose that can help other people. You can impact those around you by pursuing the things that are unique to you, things that you are supposed to pursue that bring you joy. I hope this episode was of value to you. If it was, I would love to hear from you by way of an encouraging review. As you know, this podcast is meant to be a blessing to mothers, and the more reviews that are in Apple, the more they'll start showing it to other people. So any positive feedback you can give would be so helpful. Until next time.